So I hope you'll forgive me if I spend just 2 minutes saying something about Tenemos before I ask our distinguished guest speaker to talk to us. Firstly, if you're new to the Academy, can I just say that Tenemos seeks to be a place in which a particular view of man can be discussed, taught, and meditated upon. This view seeks to see man as a spiritual creature as well as a material one, and strives to allow any of the great traditions that hold this view to come and share their insights with us and teach us of their own beauties. This is not to say that in any sense we try to mix the great traditions. Each stands alone in its own glory. But it is to say we stand not so much as opposed as opposite to the current Western world view, which sees man exclusively as a material, economic creature, a view that dominates most of our universities and disastrously our whole body politic. We stand in Tenemos for the underlying spiritual nature of man, regardless of his wondrous diversities that flower through all the great traditions. The Academy is a small flame, you might say, that stands in a great wind, and we need real supporters to keep our flame alight and to preserve the esoteric dimension that is so badly lacking. Although we have the support of the next King of England, may God preserve his house, and without whom we should not be here, we do need your actual support. And the easiest way you can do this is to become a signed-up member of Tenemos and participate in the life of our small family. If you feel moved to do this, do please contact Stephen Overy. But please do it, because we are a family and we wish to widen our family. Tonight, we have the very rare distinction of welcoming Sheikh Kabani, who is head of the great order of Sufis, the Naqshbandi. Sheikh, you cannot imagine what pleasure it is to welcome you. The founder of Tenemos, the late Kathleen Raine, came to believe that what we know of the Sufi tradition, particularly through the work of the great sage Ibn Arabi, as taught to us by the philosopher Henri Corbin, articulated a view of man that lay at the heart of all that Tenemos stands for. A mystical view, an inner and esoteric view, so necessary as a counterpoint to our exclusively exoteric, material view of man, which is leading us so far astray. Sir, we are very grateful you've come to speak to us and to tell us something of your tradition. We hope at the end of your talk you might be prepared to answer a few questions. So with no further ado, I shall hand you over to Sheikh Kabani. Before I do this, I would like to light a candle, which is our tradition, as a symbol of the unseen presence upon which we all depend.
Thank you, sir. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. May God be pleased with all of you. I'm very honored to be here. I try to learn from my teacher, who is now 85 years of age, that he spent his life mostly in educating people about spirituality and the importance of spirituality in human life. And what I learned from him is that the best of ways to show spirituality is to understand the self and to learn from each other. And I'm here today to learn from you Because if I cannot relate with you, I cannot understand what's going on. Sometimes we prepare lectures. We prepare something to speak about. But sometimes people might not be ready to hear what it is written, because might be in their heart there are different issues that they want to hear it. And that's why spiritual masters can relate through a wireless phone that today science is bringing up, a technology bringing up, to speak with each other. So spiritual masters can speak through telepathy and understand what is in the heart of the others. And by this way, speech become better and more powerful and more stronger. I prepared 35 pages, but I see myself that might go through some of them because of technical issues. But mainly we will talk heart to heart, which might be better. I think the topic that was being asked me to speak about is spirituality in modern era. And what is spirituality can do for our lives today, which is a modern life. So the question comes now, what is the definition of a modern life? Are we living in a modern life? If we are living in a modern life, then we must be, all of us, not these people, not this room, but the whole world must be living together in harmony and peace. So it means modernity has a different definition of what majority of people understand. I can ask you a question that 100 years ago, people were living and they're considering their life a modern life. To them it was modern life. 200 years ago, to those people who were living at that time, it is a modern life. In the time of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, it was a modern life. For them it was modern. This is what they feel, it is modern. To go get the water from the oasis and bring it to the house, and they have a donkey or a camel that they carry the water, it's a modern for them. In Jesus' time, Jesus Christ, in his time, also they had a modern life. To them it's modern life. Similarly in Moses' time. Similarly in the Stone Age time. Someone who has a knife made from stone considers himself that he is more modern than the other one that he doesn't have a knife even. So modernity, it depends which time you are living in, accommodating the people at that time and how they are living and how they are happy with it. So today, when we look at ourselves and we see that we are modern in our own mind, on our own sphere, and that's why we tackle the problem of modernity in the scientific way of technology, and by this way, and we tackle the way of modernity today of materialism, and we leave the aspect of completely spirituality on the side. And that's why no one anymore look at spirituality as the driving force behind everything. And we see that spirituality is the driving force behind everything. Today, modern psychology has recently concluded that despite recent impressive advances in technology, human beings are now more out of tune with themselves. They are not anymore tuned to the right way because they are not finding the right teaching or the right instrument that people can teach them. And that's why they are losing control of what we are standing for. And it is very simple. If we give it a scientific description, we are made of body and soul. It's a mass and the soul, which is the energy. Every atom in the world is made of a mass and energy. You have the electrons and you have the mass, which is the nucleus of that atom. So the atom, if you take the mass, it's not an atom anymore. If you take the electrons, which is the energy, it's not, or the neutron, is not anymore an atom. So it has to be a combination of these two together in order to make a perfect atom. And one atom from another atom, it differs. So that's why if we say little bit about Islamic, how Islam look at spirituality, then we can understand the difference that today we are falling into the traps of materialism. Prophet, peace be upon him, like Jesus, like Moses, described the importance of spirituality in the life of a human being. And he said that when he was asked to categorize religion, he divided religion into 3 different parts. He said there is the first part, which are the forms, which are the obligations. You pray, you fast, you give charity, and you go for pilgrimage. But he didn't stop. He said there is the other part, which is the faith. Faith in something that you don't see. But the soul can see, can understand that. And that's why he described the faith in believing in God and his prophets, all his books, all his angels, equally. And then he didn't stop. He said then the last part, which is ihsan, the level of ihsan, which is the moral excellence, how to change your behaviors toward good behaviors, to have moral values to each other, how to behave with your friends, with your people, with relationship with the others. That is the focus of what Prophet was looking into and trying to establish his people in order to have a spiritual life, not only a physical life, only running from morning to evening, how to pay their bills. There was no bills at that time. Today we have bills. Everyone telling you, I have to run for my bills, I have to pay my bills. Or the bank will take my home. Too many banks takes homes today, and that for foreclosure and goes bankrupted. People goes bankrupted. So, but spirituality is something that you own. No one can take it from you. Spirituality is something that you build up bridges with other people. And that's why he said in his famous tradition, he said, أَن تَعْبُدَ اللَّهَ كَأَنَّكَ تَرَاهُ فَإِن لَمْ تَكُنْ تَرَاهُ فَإِنَّهُ يَرَاكَ. To worship God as if you are seeing Him. Means if you are in front of someone important, a president or a king, how you act. You will be very polite. So when you go to a church, or you go to a synagogue, or you go to a mosque, or you go to a temple, or you go to a monastery, you have to be with God, very spiritual, opening your heart. You cannot come up with dirtiness filling your heart, and that is spirituality. Spirituality teaches us how to open our hearts, and that's why Spirituality, which is in Arabic, what people today, they use the word Sufism. Most of the people use the term Sufism. It's not about spirituality. Any other term for it except Sufism in English terminology? It is coming from the Arabic word tasawwuf. Tasawwuf coming from different derivatives, and one of them is as-safa. As-safa is the purity. The purity when you are very pure, like crystal water is so pure that you can see through it, is a transparent, very transparent. When you become very transparent, we call safa. And from that word came tasawwuf. Means anyone who reach a level of purity and transparency in his relationship with the others, not cheating, not deceiving, not conspiring, not lying, not trying to do any kind of dirty work, he is a person of transparency. That's why Sufism came out of that first one derivative. The second one derivative is the sponge, which is called in Arabic Sufat al-Qafa. The sponge is Sufa. That sponge, when you get it from the Red Sea, it's mainly a lot of them in the Red Sea and Japanese Sea and all in China Sea, you find these sponges are very soft. You can touch it like that, it will go in very smooth into the hand. Means that Sufi, that person becomes so soft. When you speak with him, you are speaking as if with someone that become heavenly, godly. He become very, very, he is subtle. He's a human being, but he is like an angel. When you speak with him, you are speaking with an angel. You feel that love, that relationship open from his heart to your heart. It's how you look at him and how he looks at you. From his eyes, you'll be able to understand what he wants, and from your eyes he can understand what you want. That person, another derivatives of the Sufi people, what's called tasawwuf, and that's why Sufism came out of that word Sufatul Kafa. I'm giving some examples in order to explain that Sufism, because today, unfortunately, especially in England, not only in England, but in the Western countries, they consider Sufism, it is a sect. But with the grace of God, when I met with His Royal Highness Prince Charles, he was in support of Sufism. He understands. He knows the real things. He is, when I spoke with him, he's not a human being. You don't feel that. You feel someone noble. You feel someone very subtle. He speaks with you with love. That smile on his face, that love on his face is different. He's a royal person. I'm not saying this to praise him, no. I'm saying what I felt. So that kind of personality, you don't find it with everyone. We need to try to build ourselves like that. We need to build ourselves to be able to be like these people. The third word of tasawwuf, which is very, very important, and I think many of today spiritual people, they use it, is coming from the Arabic word as-suf, suf, which is wool. And they say that Sufis always they used to wear the wool. They wear the cloak, like this cloak, they wear it. It's from wool, and that's why they call them Sufis, tasawwuf, because they were wearing that woolen cloth. But there were cotton at that time. Why they were not wearing cotton? We know that there was no polyester at that time, no oil money. So, but there was cotton, and they were able to use cotton or silk, but they didn't. They used wool. And why they used wool in very hot countries, like in the Gulf area, in Saudi Arabia, what we know today, Saudi Arabia, or in Palestine, or Israel, or in the Middle East countries. Why they are wearing wool? It's not so hot. It's not so cold. Because wool has a significance. That's why wool in Arabic Suf came Sufism. Because it has a significance. Wool comes from what? Comes from animals. They want to teach themselves that, oh myself, not to people, but they're teaching themselves. Oh myself, remember yourself, that you have wild characteristics, that you have an animality in you, that you have a monster within you. That monster is like an animal. You have to get rid of it. So they keep reminding themselves when they were wearing the wool that this is something that it is within us and we have to get rid of it. And to get rid of it, we have to remind ourselves always. And that's why it is mentioned in Holy Quran, فَذَكِّرْ إِنَّ الذِّكْرَ تَنْفَعُ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ. Remind yourself every time of what you are doing. Because when you remind yourself, then you know what's happening. Look, in India, in Sri Lanka, in where you have the Buddhists or you have the Hindus, they wear the very, very, very cheap kind of clothes to remind themselves that this materialistic life is going to go. You are not going to take anything with you. They want to remind themselves that this is what we take with us. It's nothing except something that covers us. Look, even in every religion or belief, you find that in Islam, you find them in Christianity, you find them in Judaism, you can find that in the Ismaili teachings, you find in the Baha'i teaching, you find that in Zoroastrian teaching, you find that in Buddhism. That spirituality is a universal teaching, and that's why Rumi said, and I think all of you know, they said, I don't know myself what I am. I know myself, I am a Jew, I am a Christian, I am a Buddhist, I am a Hindu, I am a Zoroastrian. I am this, I am that, I am a Muslim. I'm everything. I speak with everyone. My heart is open to everyone. And that's why he said what Prophet said, النَّاسُ سَوَاسِيَةٌ كَأَسْنَانِ الْمُشْتِ. People are equal like the teeth of the comb are equal. So Sufism, which today is trying to open the heart for people to understand each other. And it takes time. Like for example, take 50 years ago, I will give an example. No one believes in herbal medicine. Everyone was saying, what's herbal medicine? It doesn't exist. Might be some Chinese used to believe in herbal medicine, or some people in remote areas, but not civilized country, if we want to consider our modernity as we defined it from at the beginning. It's modernity for this time, so that we need some kind of a medical procedures and medicine that means made by pharmaceutical companies. Today, after 50 years of struggle, herbal medicine become more important than curing people through normal drugs. So it takes time to people to learn. And to learn spirituality is going to take time. It's not going to be very simple, because I put in one of my books, there are 17 different characteristics of bad characteristics and I will count some of them. Like anger. Anger is against spirituality. A spiritual person doesn't get angry. A spiritual person is a very peaceful person. You fight with him, like Jesus Christ said, if someone hits me on my right cheek, I turn for him the left one. It doesn't show anger. There is a story that happened with our grand teacher, not our teacher, but his teacher. One person came to him, he's from Dagestan, that area. And in Dagestan, a lot of Sufis there. It's Central Asia, it's full of Sufis. Till today, after the ex-Soviet Union, you find them a lot there now. Like India. One person came to him, he has a dagger here, and he has a gun. And he came to him, and the sheikh was in his seclusion, and the Sufi master was in his seclusion. And he said, "Oh master, I want to be your student." And he has a dagger, and he has a machine gun, a gun. He looked at him, what kind of teaching I'm going to teach this one? But he looked at his heart, because they can relate, they can understand. And that's what psychology is important. And that's why psychiatrists are important, because they can relate with their patients. Don't think that psychology is, that people cannot speak to the heart of each other. It's very easy, very simple, but it needs technique. That's why you need to go through certain struggle in your life in order that you'll be able to reach that level. And as it is mentioned in a tradition, that as long as my servant approaches me through helping others, through building bridges with others, through doing things that it is lovely to me, help the weak, give the poor money, look after the homeless, I will love him. When I love him, I will be his eyes that he can see with. I will be his ears that he can hear with. I will be his hand that he can speak, he touch with. I will be his tongue that he can speak with. I will be his leg that he can walk with. And this is, we know from our experience that this happens. You can speak with people from far away. You can come to them through their dreams. How many of you saw dreams that they relate you to an incident in your life? You see a guide guiding you to something. It happens. So he said, as long as my servant approaches me, I give them that power. I will give it to them, because that power is there. Like, look in this room. Do you see anything other than people? Huh? We don't see anything. But in reality, there are a lot of things here. I'm not saying something that it is extraordinary. I'm saying something that is scientific. If I want to say something extraordinary, then they will say, Mr. Nicholas will say, oh, I'm speaking like Muhyiddin ibn Arabi, something that's beyond the mind. Because why they killed Muhyiddin ibn Arabi, Mr. Nicholas, you know? Why they killed him? They killed Muhyiddin ibn Arabi, the greatest Sufi teacher, because he said, what you pray is under my feet. What you worship is under my feet. They killed him. And these are Muslim people. Like today you find some kind of these people out there in England and everywhere, radical ideology, extremist people. You don't understand what they are doing. They killed them because he said, what you worship is under my feet. After many years, like 70, 80 years, Sultan Salim al-Qanuni the Ottoman emperor, came to Damascus, where Muhyiddin ibn Arabi was killed, and saw a dream of Muhyiddin ibn Arabi coming to him in his dream and saying, "Oh, the emperor of the Ottoman, I am innocent and they killed me. Dig wherever they killed me, dig there." And Sultan Salim Kanuni, his history, Sultan Salim Kanuni, the emperor of the Ottoman at that time, went and asked where Muhyiddin ibn Arabi was hanged. And there was a very old man that he knows from his grandfather where they hanged Muhyiddin ibn Arabi. And they digged, they found barrels of gold underground in the dirt, being buried. So Muhyiddin ibn Arabi was saying, what you worship is under my feet. You are worshipping gold. That is your worshipness. That is your life. That is your materialistic life. So that person, we're speaking about anger, that person came to the teacher and said, "I want to be a student." He looked, he said, "You want to be my student with a dagger and a gun?" You cannot be a student with a dagger and a gun. "You want to be my student?" He said, "Yes." He said, "Take the dagger, take the gun away. We don't use that." He took them. He said, "Tomorrow you go to the market. You will see someone there plowing in the field, an old man. Take my stick and beat him in his back." Teachers want to teach. Sometimes you have rough time. As a student, you have rough time. You might be beaten to reach a high level. Look, the monks, they go to Himalaya mountains. They sit there for many years. There is no light except one light coming from the top. And what they eat nothing. And they survive. They eat little bit food and they survive. These people, they build their spirituality. And that's why it is said, "Man arifa nafsahu faqad arifa rabbah." Who knows himself knows his Lord. When you know yourself, then you know your Lord. So he was very happy. He's a wrestler. He said, "Oh, that's good. If it is spirituality, I'm very happy. I will beat every day hundreds of these people. It's not necessary I beat one person. I will find more to beat them." He took the stick and running to the market. He asked, "Where is that old man?" They said, "He's in his field plowing." "Go there." He went there. He saw that old man plowing and on an ox, using an ox and plowing the field. He took the stick, beated him on his back. He beated him, and the old man pushed his feet on the ox to move faster. He didn't look back. He didn't look back. He moved faster. Then he beat him another time because the sheikh told him, "Break it on his back." It's not a big stick, so it's a nice one. So he beat him another time. It broke. What happened? The old man stopped, running to that wrestler, that one who beat him, and said, "Please forgive me. God has sent you to purify me from my sins. I prefer to be cleaned in this life, not to be punished in the other life. They send you here to clean me." So that wrestler was surprised. Means someone who comes to you with harm, you don't show anger. You keep your anger down. He went back to the teacher and he said, "This is what happened with me." He said, "Oh, my son, come to me. Come with me." He went outside the retreat center where they were, and he said, "Look, what is this tree?" He said, "It's an apple tree." He said, "Take a stone and hit that tree." And he hit that tree, and that tree was dropping fruit, apples. When he hit the branch, he said, you have to be like that tree. You hit it, it gives you fruit. When people come to you with something against you, don't rebel against them. Take it with an open heart. Try to work out with them. Try to build bridges with them. Try to speak nicely with them. Then they will understand. Then they will come to you. Then they open up. And then they will work with you. And that's what we need today. We don't see this today. That is spirituality. And that's what I was going, before I was saying, do you see anything in this room? And we say, no, we are not seeing, except we're seeing each other. But no, there are more than each other. There are thousands and thousands of other people here. Can you see them? Anyone can see them? No one can see them. Even me, I cannot see them. But if I bring a TV here and a receiver, you can see thousands of channels. Isn't that? Because there are wavelengths moving. This room full of wavelengths. Everywhere there is these wavelengths, these vibrations. Because energy never, scientifically, energy is always there. The energy cannot be dead. Energy is always existing, even in chemistry. When you have a formula from the left side, like say sodium plus chloride equals sodium chloride. The same energy on the sodium and the chloride is going to be the same energy on the sodium chloride from the other side, the combination of the molecule. So that energy is existing of vibrations. These vibrations, a TV can see it. Why? Because it has a receiver. And that receiver, that small box, is made up of what? Of a chip. That chip can decode all these wavelengths and turn them into pictures, images, and turn them into voices. What you think about your heart is not better than a receiver. What God has created is far more better than what a human being has innovated. And that is the big difference. Look, in the human being, that's why we say spirituality is very important. Everyone has we say that a human being they have brain and they are intelligent. Where is that intelligence? Ask a doctor. Where is that intelligence? Can you show me intelligence? No, you cannot show me intelligence. It exists, but you cannot show it to me in a mass. But it is there, like a chip in a computer. You have the chip, so you have everything inside the chip. Today, to make a program, a software, you need thousands and thousands of engineers to do a software. If you want to make a hard drive or a computer, you need thousands and thousands of engineers to do that. Imagine 6 billion computers to be made, everyone with different language and different understanding to each other. How many engineers it needs? All of the human beings, they have a small chip in their mind, in their brain, smaller than a seed of lentil, that can contain all the sciences and intelligence of a human being inside your brain. Who did that? invented that? Everyone think differently. And that's why, imagine this room, we are sitting in a square, in a cube, and it has holes. And the light comes from outside that cube, inside these holes. Everyone look, he see a light coming. He take that light, it's for him. Everyone will have a different light. No one will have same light. Everyone has a different light. If you open the box, what will happen? You will see that all comes from one light. It's the same light that is outside. That is light of spirituality. Spirituality is universal. But everyone takes his share from it in order to learn. So in order to learn spirituality, we have to get rid of our bad characteristic, which is psychiatrists and psychologists try to rehabilitate people toward it. And that's why we said anger. One of them, and which is the worst one of them, because when you are angry, you become drunk. No one can speak with you. If you get angry with your wife, or the wife get angry with the husband, completely it will end up in separation. No one will accept the other and try to work it with the other. Anger is very dangerous, and that's why it is said, Al-Qatil wal-Maqtul fi an-Nari abada. The one who kills and who one is killed, both of them to be punished. Because the one who killed, he killed. The one who did not kill but he was killed, if he would have been able to kill before the other one, he would have killed the other one. So both of them are participating in that. The second one is malice, haqd. And Prophet said, do not have malice for one another. Don't have that between you and the other people, because it is bad. Never develop destructive intentions. When you develop destructive intentions, then you make the whole community to fall down. So spirituality comes, like psychologists or psychiatrists teach you how to develop yourself in order to be constructive, not destructive. Today we see people becoming destructive, rebellions. They rebel against their government. They rebel against everything. They rebel against those whom they elected. Why you elected them? Why you took them as your representatives? When you take them as your representative, you can advise them, but you cannot go and destroy them, because this is against your principle and the principle of human belief. Allah commanded Moses to speak a gentle word to Pharaoh. Moses never spoke with Pharaoh in a bad way. He was speaking him with a gentle way to show Pharaoh that he was wrong. Yet Pharaoh rejected the truth. And Moses did not raise the children of Israel against Pharaoh. What he did, he said, okay, let us migrate. Let us move. Let us go peacefully. Pharaoh went after him to fight him and to kill him. But he didn't create a fight. We cannot create fight against people who are either against us or with us. We have to build up bridges with them. We have to go along with them, because by constructive debate we can finish the problem. And that's why Moses taught us that we must not harm out of hatred, even hatred for an aggressor. Moses challenged Pharaoh by means of knowledge and faith. And we can take an example of Prophet Moses. Jealousy, another one. That many psychologists or psychiatrists, they can see that problem within people, and that spirituality solves jealousy. You become jealous from each other. Why he is sitting on the chair and giving me a lecture? I want to be a lecturer. Okay, be a lecturer, I will listen. One person has to speak, the other has to listen. Or if everyone going to speak from one side, what will happen? A Turkish bath, they say. You are in a bath, and everyone speaks from one side. No one gets benefit. And that's why always there is a protocol of speaking. One speak, the other listens. So Prophet said, do not envy one another. Do not hate each other. And do not slander one another. And be servant of Allah, all of you as brothers and sisters. You see, this spirituality, Islam is not only pray your 5 prayers and fast Ramadan as today people are saying. Christianity is not only tells you to go to the church and make your service and that's it, or to go to the synagogue, or to go to the temple, or to go, but to act on what you believe. They're not saying by tongue, but by doing what you are acting on. That's why we say there is qawl, al-qawl wal-fa'l. Al-qawl, you say what you say, and the fa'l is you act upon what you say. People, so many lecturers, they say many things, but they don't act on themselves. They don't do it themselves. And he said, if you do stretch your hand against me to slay me, it is not for me to stretch my hand against you to slay you. This is Cain and Abel. Abel is saying to Cain, if you are going to kill me, I'm not going to extend my hand to kill you. You want to kill me, you kill me. I'm surrendering. I am surrendering to my Lord. So spirituality doesn't mean here that, okay, we tell people come and kill us, but it teaches us how to be patient and how to work with each other. Vanity, another bad characteristics. Mustakbir, to see yourself above everyone. Who has the right to see himself above everyone? No one. And especially royalties, they have the right to see, but you can see them so humble. That's why we like royalties. We don't like presidents. Sorry to say that. I'm saying what I feel. It's free for everyone what he likes to say. But we like royalties because royalties are noble. They have a noble blood. They know how to speak. They've been raised in a very nice environment and in a very nice way. So don't be arrogant. Vanity is a dangerous attribute. It also prompts them to reject advice as they are told that their own thinking is sufficient and superior. There are a lot of students even in the classes, or a lot of professors, or a lot of clergymen, or a lot of many people that they feel that they are so higher than everyone. Because everyone thinks himself that he is the best. There is a saying in the Holy Quran, a verse, that when Allah created earth and He said to earth and to heavens, I'm going to give you the trust to carry. They said, no, we don't want to carry. It's heavy trust. He said to human being, I give you the trust to carry. He said, yeah, we can take it. Earth and heaven rejected it because it's heavy. To return it back clean and pure, the human being took it because they have short short visions, because they like superiority. They like to be famous. They like to be known. If we are known or not known, after 60 years, 70 years, 80 years, what happened? We are going. All of us, we are going. We are not taking with us anything. So why to feel that superiority over the other? Superiority is when you are really sitting on a chair of presidency or a ministry or a prime minister or very high level, and you feel the problem of the people and see the people better than you. You have to help them. God gave you that power to help them. That is good at that time. Or else you have a sickness in you. The Prophet said, the best moment in all my life from beginning to end is when Allah called me, when God called me a servant. Servant means here when Allah called me humble person. When we are humble to each other, then we achieve everything that people would like to see from us. That's why Satan said, he was feeling that superiority. He said, I am better than Adam. You created me from fire, you created him from clay. So you cannot put me in the same level. So this is spirituality. This is you are studying the behavior of human beings. This is what we need to understand. This is what we need to know in order to solve a problem, or else you cannot solve a problem. I was in Indonesia. Every day, early morning, we wake up at 3 in the morning and we do night prayers before the normal prayer, because in Islam there is 5 prayers. One of them is before sunrise by 1 hour, but we wake up before sunrise by 3 hours and we meditate. And we meditate on ourselves, and we meditate on the universe, and we meditate on the Creator. It depends on the level of the one who is meditating. And then I give a lecture, and then they pray, and then everyone goes to his work. If you ask me how many people will be attending, I will tell you at least will be attending in that morning around 3,000 to 4,000 people every day. In the evening, when they finish their work, they come. We go to big centers, and it's being arranged by the government, because I am very well. The president is my friend, and the vice president is a very close friend to me of Indonesia. They give a huge centers. We go there, and might be there is 10,000, sometimes 20,000 people attending the lecture and the chanting and meditation. I'm doing this, and one time, I am doing this since 10 years now, and one time a group of people coming to me, because when we do this, we rehabilitate people. We pull people from the streets who they are drug addicts, or they are gangs members, or they are jihadist people, or they want to fight, and so on. And we try to rehabilitate them through spirituality in order to be better citizens. And one day came to me a group of around 100 people. I saw them, they are different. I'm giving my lectures one day after one day after one day. They come in every day, every day, every day. Before I leave, they came to me and they said, can we have a discussion with you? I said, of course. They said, we like what you are saying. We never heard it before. When we go to mosques, they tell us all the time, if we do something, they say this is innovation. You cannot do it in Islam. Or they say this is infidel. When you do something wrong, this is infidel. You become an infidel. You cannot do it in Islam. Or we do something different, they say this is forbidden. You cannot do that. If we do something else, they say this is polytheism. You cannot do that. So we are stuck. We go straight, innovation. We go right, it's forbidden. We go left, polytheism. We go back, is not accepted. So what we do? So I came to you, we find that everything is very open, very spiritual. We are very happy, we want to be your student. I said, okay. They said, we have a mosque that has 10,000 people. We want you to address them. And I was traveling. I postponed my travel one day to go and address these people. And they were from Jama'at al-Tabligh, Tablighi people. I don't know if you heard about that here. I went there, I gave them a speech, and at the end, they said, we want to meet with you private. These 100 people, after I gave the lecture to them. So I said, okay, we went to a room, and we sat there, and they said, we have a question now. After we became your student, and you have enlightened us about spirituality and what we have to do, now you have to tell us where we are going to fight the enemies. I look at them, I said, who are the enemies? I'm speaking spirituality for 15 days now, and I'm saying the enemy is ourselves, is our ego. So who the enemy you are speaking about? They say the infidel, the Jews, the Christian, the others, the atheists, who they don't believe in anything. We are jihadists. Where is we are going to fight for jihad? I said, we have no jihad here. There is no any more principle of jihad in Islam. Today, what we see is not a jihad anymore. It's a hate. It's not the war that you are speaking about. What kind of jihad you are speaking about? They said war. I said, do you know what is the meaning of jihad? They said no. I said there are 14 characteristics of jihad. I said, okay, I'm not traveling. I'm staying here for one more week. And I'm going to explain for you what are the different characteristics of jihad, which are 14. And I will, because it's very important to mention them to you. There are 14 categories of jihad. First, jihad against the hypocrites. The first jihad, which is by heart, by tongue, by wealth, by person. This is Islam. This has been the principles of jihad. You have to, the jihad is by heart. You have to make jihad through spirituality. You have to means to educate people. You have to teach them. This is a jihad. This is a struggle to rehabilitate people back. By tongue, to give them lectures. By wealth, to give them money because they are poor. That's where the problem is coming. Because poor people, they don't have money. Bin Laden comes and give every one of them $100, $200. They go, of course, they fight because they need the money. By person is one-to-one. You speak. You are right. You put one person to speak to the other one-to-one. That is the first part of jihad. Second, jihad against the devils. Fighting him defensively against everything of false desires and slanderous doubts in faith that he throws toward that servant. So whatever Satan is throwing into your heart, that is a jihad when you oppose what he is asking you to do. What this negative, if we don't want to call it Satan, what this negative energy comes, what this pollution of the body comes, and try to whisper in your ear something that is against the normativity of people and against the normal things that you know or the common things, that is coming from a negative whispering that is a devil that is whispering in your ear, that is a struggle against yourself. That's why it's very important to fight your ego, not the good ego. There is the bad desire, the bad ego. Fight of the self, jihadun nafs, that he strives to learn guidance and the religion of truth, which is there is no felicity or happiness in life or in hereafter except by it. Then he strives to act upon it after he has learned it. When you want to struggle against yourself tells you do this, you don't do it because you try to balance it. Is it correct or not correct? Everyone has a common sense. Everyone has a mind. God gave everyone intelligence. He knows what is bad, He knows what is good. قَدْ أَفْلَحَ مَنْ زَكَّاهَا وَقَدْ خَابَ مَنْ دَسَّاهَا, Allah said in Holy Quran. The one who will do it, who will try to build it up, to build his ego and struggle against his self, bad desires, is going to be rewarded. Then he strives to call to Allah and to teach it to someone who does not know it. Then he strives with patience in seeking to call people to the right way. So these are different characteristics of jihad. Jihad of war is one of 14. So before coming to the 14, before you finish your 14, you cannot go to that jihad of war. And now there is no principle of jihad. You fight who? Who you are fighting? Before jihad was to fight enemy to enemy. Both sides are enemy to each other, wherever they are, the both sides. You see them and they see you. You fight them and they fight you. That is the real jihad. That is the real war. But to go and put a jacket like what happened 7/7 here in London and kill so many people, pure people for nothing, that's what kind of jihad? That is never accepted in Islam and never been taught by Prophet. Prophet said, don't kill anyone, even don't cut a tree. It is forbidden to cut a tree because when you cut a tree means you are cutting something that God has created in nature. So all this, we are striving today to find a way out of it and trying to change our lives through that kind of spirituality that Sufism is teaching us. Ibn Arabi, all his teachings was about love. All his teaching was about something that, I give you an example. One of the big saints that they are influenced by these philosophers, Ibn Arabi and others, he said, "Oh God, why you are trying us? We are your shadow." Because it is written, الناس ظل الله على الأرض. The human being are the image of God on earth. God created Adam on his image. So image means the reflection of a mirror. So we are the reflection of God manifestation. When God manifests himself in this universe, these appearances appears. And everyone is an appearance of the manifestation of the Lord. And that's why you are an appearance of that manifestation. He is an appearance of that manifestation. She is the appearance of that manifestation. So when we have to look at you, we have to look behind you who is appearing in you. And God is appearing in everyone. So how you are going to come against people when God is appearing through them? That is meaning of spirituality. So when this occurs, this manifestation occurs, then you can take it in the broad spectrum that nothing exists except heavenly power, that heavenly energy. Someone asked me a question that they were trying to calculate the lowest possible time limit, and they went into study in physics how much they can go of a fraction of a second. They begin with 10 to minus 1, 10 to minus 2, 10 to minus 3 of a second. 10 to minus, I don't know, you understand what I'm saying. 10 to minus 3, 10 to minus 4, still they were able to calculate the second. So very precise. Until they became to 10 to minus 15, still they were able to calculate. 10 to minus 20, they were able to calculate. 10 to minus 22, time disappeared. There is no more time. It's only energy. There is no more anything existing except energy. You become energy, he becomes energy, everything becomes energy. Everything disappears, energy comes up, and that energy is spirituality. That's what we are seeking. That's what everyone is seeking, that energy, that cosmos energy, that in Islam it exists, in Judaism it exists, in Christianity it exists, Buddhism, Hinduism, Zionism, Ismailism, in all kind of different Baha'ism, Zoroastrians, and that's why I'm happy when you light the candle. That candle is when Moses, in Holy Quran is mentioned, when Moses told to his family when he was going from Yemen back to Egypt after he got married, because when he killed a person by mistake, he ran away to Yemen, and it is in the Torah also, and in the Old Testament. And when he was coming back, he saw fire. He approached the fire, and he said, "Inni anastu naran, la'alli atikum biqabasin minha aw ajidu 'ala an-nari huda." This is mentioned in Holy Quran also. That to said to his family, "I saw a flame. Let me go to that flame. I might find guidance, and I might get some small stick from that or some fire from there in order to give us warmth." So the first indication of heavenly appearance was a candle, was that flame that always moving and showing you the Creator, the greatness of the Lord. So if we become a flame burning in the love of our Lord, then we will be able to change a lot on this world and in this universe. Or else, if we are not a flame, because the flame sometimes, there are candles with incense in it, perfumes. They give a nice smell. Every one of us will become like a candle, giving a nice smell. If everyone today, Mr. Nicholas, if we can work a future of spirituality, although it might take times and many generations for our children, if we can begin to implement spirituality in our universities and in our school, regardless of religion, because it's a universal religion, it's a universal love. If we begin to implement it in our school materials, curriculum, then new generations come with their mind looking forward for that kind of spirituality, and then it will become a big change toward the best of human beings. Or else we will be always lost in the vanity of these radicals and in the hegemony of these tyrants that are trying to take everyone to somewhere that dumping this whole world into a disaster. We hope that we will be saved, and God bless the Queen, and God bless England, and God bless this earth. It's because it is the mother of everyone, this earth. We are from earth, and to earth we are going. I will be, of course, the lecture is completely different of what I have said. it's more precise in many issues and aspects in spirituality. If anyone is interested, can give us his email. We'll email it to you, and then we will be able to send it to anyone who wants it, and it will be on their website, I hope. And before I end, I have another one lecture that I gave in the Netherlands. There was a conference there because they say that Sufism is a sect in Islam. I showed them that Sufism is not a sect in Islam. And I will leave these with you. I will not take them, I will give them to you. But I showed them from the time of the Prophet till today. I counted some, not everyone, of Muslim scholars that they are very famous. Even the Wahhabis today, they consider them as if they are the biggest scholar. They were in favor of Sufism. And I stated them here, their date, their names, their date of birth, and what they said about Sufism. It will be like a reference of what scholars said about Sufism in Islam, to be able to debate in a constructive debate those who says there is no Sufism in Islam, because I am hearing this a lot, that there is no Sufism in Islam. Imam, Grand Mufti of Egypt, told me, you know, Azhar University is the biggest university in the world for Islam, and it was built, might be more than 1,000 years ago. The first university in the world. He said to me that there was no student allowed to graduate without studying Sufism. Until 10-15 years ago. He said we used to have at least 1,000 to 1,500 students in the Sufi class and to take that course. Today, we don't have more than 10 to 15 students. He said because of the influence of the Wahhabi ideology inside the Azhar University of Egypt. And all that because of money. So the problem today is money. When we understand that money is good to live a decent life, but not to destroy the lives of others. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much indeed. Steve, do we have a few moments? We have just a very short moment for a couple of questions. Let's just see.
Salat al-Sheikh, you mentioned anger, which is a very important point. Now, Imam al-Ghazali, who was from the town of Tus, and also Sheikh Abu Ali al-Farandi was also from the town of Tus, and Imam al-Ghazali studied under him. He was younger, so he's the same chain as you mentioned in your books. In his book, Kibya al-Sa'ada, the alchemy of happiness, he talks about the body like a kingdom. The heart is the king, and the brain is the chief wazir or chief minister. Now he talks about anger being the police. Therefore, in the case of a wise person, anger is not completely killed. It's under control, like the police force in a kingdom. Do you agree with this or not?
We are not Imam Ghazali.
But
I agree. We like to be like Imam Ghazali.
We like to learn from him.
Yeah. Imam Ghazali is speaking about what his experience is. Of course, when a wise man speak about that, he knows that he can control his anger. And he knows sometime when he gets angry with some people, it is not an anger of killing, it's an anger of love. To bring that person back to him, because when he showed that what he did was wrong. But the anger that we as normal people, when we get angry, our mind stops and we cannot think anymore. So the best way, and there are ways to stop that, the best way, when you get angry, take a shower. If that shower did not help, leave the house. Go for a walk. I don't want to make a advertisement for Starbucks, but go to Starbucks and have a coffee there and come back to your wife. And then we see the anger will go.
Sir, I've had two different opinions. One opinion tells me that Sufism is part of Islam. You have to follow the path of Islam to be a Sufi. It belongs to Sufism. And I've also heard of the opinion that Sufism stands outside Islam, that you don't need to be a Muslim to follow the Sufi path. I wonder what you say. I know, for example, Hasidism in Judaism, you have to be Jewish. There's no way you can be a Hasid without being Jewish. So, but can you be a Sufi without being Muslim?
You can be a Sufi, of course, without being a Muslim, and you can be a Sufi and you are a Muslim. As you can be a Sufi and you are a Jew, and you can be a Sufi and you are a Christian. And you can be a Sufi, like Rumi said, I don't belong to anyone, I belong to everyone. So it's up to how you feel and how you look at it. So from your own perspective, you can build up your own definition of Sufism. I have a lot in America that they are Jews, and they come to me and they listen, and they say we are a Sufi Jew, although I'm a Muslim. They listen to what I say, they hear, and they say we are a Sufi Jews. We don't say to them, don't come. They come. We are universal.
So it stands outside?
It stands outside.
Thank you.
Can we ever see a day where multi-faith, different faiths...
Can you speak up?
Will we ever see a day where people from different faiths come together and understand the universal message of religion and of God, as it were? The universal Sufi principle within that, very important.
I did not understand that.
Will there ever be a day, will we see a day, when people will come together really on a spiritual basis rather than on a religious basis?
Of course, there will be coming a time, and this is what Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, predicted, and other prophets predicted, and Jesus predicted, Moses predicted, and Abraham, all of them predicted that there will be coming a time that spirituality will be veiled, what you call, cover all aspect of life, and people will be following one universal spiritual understanding to God.
Now, Sheikh, I know people have to catch their trains home, so if we could just have one last question. Yes.
Hi. Yeah, I'm a writer and a musician, and I have a lot of problems trying to publicize my work and to sell what I do to people, because I think it's very important for what I have to say to be heard by other people, but it conflicts with my ego always, you know. So do you know there is any way where you can let people know about what you're doing, and there is no conflict with your ego trying to push yourself in other people's eyes?
Always try to do what you believe in, and try to pursue what you believe in, and people slowly will come to you, because God said, and it's in every religion, and spirituality, that if my servant approaches me one hand, I approach him one arm. If he comes to me walking, I come to him running. So you move like you are moving, and then one day will come that you will see everything open in front of you. Don't lose hope.
Ladies and gentlemen, on that wonderful, optimistic note, I think we'd like to bring this evening to an end. Sheikh, it's been a really great honor to have you.
Thank you. This is the...
And thank you
the
very
tour-
much
the tour.
indeed. Thank you. And ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of you all, please thank Sheikh Abad.
Thank you very much. Thank you. God bless you. I like to have one because when I want to do one. But it doesn't go. It means I'm there. Good night.